Hello and good morning, MYM Insiders. How's everybody doing today? This is Rich Harshaw, and we are here for our Tuesday morning ad clinic. We've got two submissions each from two different submittors, so we'll jump right on with both of them. The two submittors are Rick Hogue, and the second submittor is Jack Hassel. And I see that we have Rick on board with us here, and I don't see Jack quite yet. Now, Rick, I'm going to attempt to unmute you here. I see that you're on a voice over IP. That does cause problems sometimes, but we'll give it a go here. Rick, are you there? How about now? Try it again, Rick. Rick, I see that you are unmuted. You should be live now. Okay, Rick, do me a favor. Assuming that you are hearing me, please use a telephone to call in at the number indicated on your console, and that will do the trick. Let's see. Meanwhile, let me see if I can find our other submittor, which is Jack. Not so much. Oh, there's Jack. Okay, Jack, I see that you are on but not connected via telephone, so I'll give you a minute. If you'll please connect via telephone, I'll be able to talk to you as well. And we'll see who can get on quickest. Rick, you can attempt to say something. I still see you connected. Jack, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. We'll start with you then, because I've got somebody else actually submitted before you. However, I can't seem to get them to show up on voice. So, Chad, if you'll do me a favor and troubleshoot with Rick, if we can get him on with a telephone would probably be better. Meanwhile, I'll talk to Jack. How you doing today, Jack?
Good. How about you?
You know what? It's the first TMAC of the year, and we're already on the 20th, so I'm ready to get rolling here. I see that you've submitted two different things. What would you like to look at first? One's called Bath Solutions Revised. The other one's called We're Obsessed.
We're Obsessed. There should be two ads about We're Obsessed. Two different versions of it.
Okay. All right, just 1 second. Get rid of a couple of these other things. Whoops. All right, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger on the screen. Whoa. Okay, Jack, tell me about this ad. First thing I want to know is where is it going to be running? Who's going to be seeing it? And what are you trying to accomplish?
Well, obviously we're trying to make the phone ring, but it's going to run in like home magazines. There's, if you remember the Home Mag. So it's going to be half a page, glossy, in the Home magazine.
Tell me about the magazine itself. Is it the kind of magazine that is mostly just ads, or is it the kind of magazine that also has a fair amount of editorial content?
No, it's magazine. It's only ads similar to what you're seeing here. Okay. And it's mostly home improvement type ads.
Okay, this is an important distinction, because if it's all ads, then it actually acts almost more like a directory. And if it's a magazine that has editorial content, then that changes the approach a little bit, because these are people that are reading a magazine for editorial content, not for ads. But we know this. If the entire magazine is ads, then these are people that are specifically looking for something, right? They're not just reading for content. So that's helpful to know. Let me see here. So have you run in this magazine before? And if so, what happened?
Well, we had, yes, we have, but what I would do is, which I know is wrong now, but I would run it once, maybe get one or two calls, then say, well, it's not worth it, and then I wouldn't run it again for a couple months, and I'd do it again. So what we're doing this time is we're going to run them for 6 issues.
And how often does it come out?
Monthly.
Okay. Let me tell you about that. So, yeah, you're kind of right in saying, well, we need to run it consistently. The reality is when something comes out once per month, even if you're in there every month, there's still not a lot of continuity built up. Now, that's not to say it's not worthwhile. That's not to say you shouldn't do it. It's not to say that there's no ability to gain continuity at all, but it's just being realistic about the situation. It's an advertising publication. People are going to look at it. They're looking at ostensibly dozens of ads, and it's not something that people are going to have a lot of continuity from one month to the next, remembering, oh, I saw that ad, I saw that ad. They're going to this publication specifically to look for deals, to look for offers, to look for these kinds of things. In that regard, it's similar to a clipper or a Valpak or something of that nature. Would you agree?
Yes.
So, I mean, it's a little bit different setup than if you were running on television or radio or even, say, a daily newspaper, where the idea is that you know that the majority of people who see or hear that ad on a given day aren't going to have a need for what you sell, but through the ongoing repetition of seeing it every day, 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 at some point when they do get the need, when they do identify that, hey, I need to buy whatever that is, in this case bathrooms, they have a recognition of there's a company that I've seen, I understand who they are, I know that they exist, and if you've done your job properly over enough time, they also understand not just that you exist and who you are and what your name is, but they also understand what some of the benefits of doing business with you are, a la your identity. In this environment, that's really difficult to pull off. So I don't want you to get the idea that if you put this in there 6 times in a row that you're going to see this build up over time. You might, but you also might not because of the issues that I just discussed. Now, you might already know that, and that might already be clear to you, but I think it's worthwhile to mention for your benefit, but also for the benefit of everyone else who's on this call listening, okay?
Okay.
So, that being said, let's talk about what we want to accomplish. You know, we should always start every ad with 2 questions in mind. Question number 1 is, what do I want people to know? Second question is, what do I want people to do? So let's take a look at this ad and see if I can tell. What do I want people to know? We're obsessed with creating perfect bathrooms, high-quality acrylic one-day installation, so easy to clean, no more mold, lifetime guarantee. We never cut corners to pad profits. Call Bath Solutions, we're BBB accredited. So my feeling when I read this ad is that it's very, very typical. All of the claims that you make don't really have a lot of weight with them because they're not really developed. Now, again, I'm not saying this in the context of, hey, this is a terrible idea, or hey, there's no chance this will work. I'm saying this in the context of let's just call it what it is, okay? So when you say we never cut corners to pad profits, exclamation point with a starburst background behind it, it's really hard for me as a consumer to believe that. Not to suggest that I read it and say, well, this guy's clearly lying. He clearly does cut his corners to pad his profits, but it has the feel of a platitude. Okay, I would expect a guy to say something like that. So therefore, it doesn't have any positive weight. It doesn't necessarily have negative weight. It just doesn't weigh at all. It just goes off the understanding like water off a duck's back. It doesn't make any impression. We're obsessed with creating perfect bathrooms. is a similar kind of a claim. So what I'd like to see is maybe a couple of different approaches we could take here. One is to take a more identity-based approach where we take a little bit more words, a little bit more time, a little bit more effort to develop that identity. Another approach is one that's on my mind just because I've been talking to one of our customers about it, is an advertorial. We might talk about that in a minute, but let's talk about the identity-based approach. I have a feeling that your feeling is that this is an identity-based approach. Is that probably true?
Yes.
Yeah. The difference between it being an identity-based approach and it not being an identity-based approach is just the amount of detail that we have the ability to communicate to our prospects. So what you've done is you've taken the essence of the identity, you've stripped it down to a couple of talking points, and you put those talking points in the ad. But when you do that, you really lose the ability to really strongly, powerfully communicate those points. They start to sound more like I said earlier, platitudes. So let's do this. Let's go to your identity and let's take a look at it. And I'm going to try to do that by pulling something up that I've worked with you on, okay?
Okay.
Let me see if I can find this thing. Very fine home. Give me just a second here, Jack, while I locate this. Okay. Here's the sketch that I sent you. And then here's the copy, okay? So let's just read it real quick. And again, Jack, I know you know this and understand this, but just to be super clear, part of what I'm saying on this call is for your direct benefit. There's other things that I say that perhaps you already know, but it's for the benefit of other people who are participating, listening, okay?
Yep.
So let's take a look at it. Creating perfect bathrooms by obsessing over details for 45 years. My dad is, now this is coming from the standpoint of your daughter. We had discussed that. My dad is preoccupied with perfection. He's adamant about excellence. He's fixated on flawless. Now he's passed the close enough isn't good enough torch to me. And so we've got this level of detail. Now, let me explain to you a concept that I call the flag on the mountain, okay? Have you heard me talk about this before?
Yes.
Okay. The flag on the mountain says we take a flag and we write on it whatever the core of our identity is. Maybe it's obsessed with details or obsessed with perfection. And if we take that flag and we run out into the middle of a big wide open prairie field and we shove it in the dirt, somebody drives by and looks at it and says, why would somebody put a flag on a field? Flags are meant for mountains, and when we plant that flag on top of a mountain, it shows that we've climbed and endured and worked hard to get to the top of this mountain. So when we're claiming the mountain, it means something. It's because people can see underneath the flag all of the effort and elements that went into that flag planting. So what we want to do is we want to create this mountain of evidence, this mountain of power, this mountain of words that allow people, when they see this thing called obsessed with perfection, it becomes more believable. So that's what this kind of discussion here is. We look on here, we have this idea that it's coming from your daughter. Is that something that you would be interested in sticking with in the advertising as well as the website?
Yeah.
Because what we can do, I think, on an ad to make it a little bit, see, I think on the website, the daughter approach works well. It's a website. People are going to look at it. They can understand it a little bit better. I think we've got to be a little bit quicker to the point on the advertisement. So what I might suggest is that we could still have it be coming from the standpoint of your daughter, but instead of using this, my dad is preoccupied with perfection, just simply say, we are preoccupied We are preoccupied with perfection. We're adamant about excellence. We're fixated on flawless. And then you can say later on, to whatever extent you want, hey, this is a family business and I run it and my dad, or you can leave it out for the sake of the advertisement because there's just not a lot of room to develop that, right? We're always dealing with this catch-22. We want to use as much detail as possible, but at the same time, we have a limited amount of space to do that, okay? Mm-hmm. So this ad over here is probably, roughly 7 or 8 inches wide by roughly 5 inches tall, 6 inches tall, something like that?
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay. What do I want people to know? What do I want people to do? How much of what you want people to know has to do with this walk-in tubs, like with this woman here on the bottom?
Well, that's our primary market right now.
Okay, tell me about that just a little bit. You say primary market. Would you like this ad to get people to call specifically for that? I mean, I know you would generically, but would you like most of the calls to be for that, or do you really care?
No, I would like most of the calls to be for that because it's prime time in our area. Okay. But I don't want to exclude the other acrylic work. Well,
so I'm going to put the proverbial gun to the head, and I'm going to say, well, which do you want? Because I'm going to tell you why. We can create a more general company-oriented ad that talks about bathrooms and so forth by focusing in on the identity, or we can focus in on this one particular product, and we can create a marketing piece specifically for that. But it is going to, by definition, start to exclude the other kinds of calls. So you tell me. There's benefits of both ways. The benefit of going the second way is that you really focus in on that particular product, and people that have a particular need for it go, oh, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. That's a tough call. I don't know what to say. We've always promoted, the acrylic systems plus the walk-ins. When the phone rings, it's probably 50-50.
I'll tell you one thing you could do. No, I'm not saying, hey, Jack, go do this. I'm just saying here would be one thing you could do. You could create one ad for each way, and then you could do the following. You could either run both of them in the same magazine in different spots and see which one gets the most calls, or you could run one this month and another one the next month and see which one gets the most calls.
No, that's a good idea.
Okay, so I would probably do that because, I know that this what do you want to call this? Aging in place, elderly person, sit in a bathtub thing? What do you want to call that thing? Walk-in tub?
Yes.
I know the walk-in tub market is extraordinarily specific, and I have a feeling. Tell me if I'm right on this. I mean, I'm not as dialed into the senior citizen market as you probably are, dealing with it every day. But I have a feeling that there's a certain sense that people get when they see that, where the picture kind of paints a magic picture of what it is, and immediately the benefits become clear. Is that probably true?
Yes.
People see that and they go, oh, wow, I didn't really understand that existed, or I've never heard of that before, or I've kind of heard of it before, but I didn't really know exactly what it was, and now I'm seeing it. This is pretty interesting, and that might be something I would want. I mean, it's the proverbial picture tells 1,000 words, right?
Yes.
So let's work on that ad for just a minute.
Now, let me add.
Go ahead.
For the elderly market, it's either the walk-in tub or the tub-to-shower conversions. So
okay.
They both carry equal weight in that market.
So I would say create ads for all three being general. When I say general, I mean your whole company, not product specific. And that goes back to your identity, right? Creating perfect bathrooms by assessing over details. Right. We're perfectionists, blah, blah, blah. Now, we can still integrate that into the other ads, but it certainly wouldn't be where the spotlight was shining. Then we could create an ad for walk-in tubs, and then we could create one for tub-to-shower conversion. Because, this tub-to-shower conversion is a little bit tougher. And I'm going to tell you why. Because it's terminology that is really, really familiar to you, but it's not familiar to anybody else. So when you say tub to shower conversion, if somebody sat there and looked at the picture and studied it and looked at the words tub to shower conversion and studied it, they could probably draw a conclusion of what it is. But at a casual glance, at a cursory viewing, at a I'm just flipping through this magazine pace, most people aren't going to catch what that is. Are you following me on that?
Yep.
Do you believe me when I say that?
Yeah, I guess I can believe it.
Because it's just not something they've ever heard of, or nobody's ever talked to them about it. And when you explain it to them, most people would go, oh, okay, I get it. You're going to pull out the tub, and in the same amount of space, you're going to put this shower, and they look at the picture, and they go, oh, okay, I can see. That takes up the same amount of space as the bathtub used to, but instead of being a bathtub, it's a shower. I get it. But nobody's ever heard of that before, certainly not in those terms. And yes, I know that people have seen them before. Maybe they've been in a hotel where there was one before, but they don't have words to describe this because it's just not something that's been on their brain before. So what I'm suggesting in that scenario, okay, we got 3 scenarios that we're spinning here. We got lots of plates, and let's start to try to, bring this home. On the tub to shower conversion, I would use extremely specific words to describe what is possible along with the picture. Okay, so we put the picture there of the tub to shower conversion. I'd make it bigger. And again, we're doing 3 ads. One's general, one's walk-in tubs, one is tub to shower conversion. Okay, on the tub to shower, I'd put a bigger picture, and I would use explicit words that say something like, I'm not writing the headline right now. I'm just telling you what the idea is, okay? You with me? I'm not saying, hey, write this. But here's what I want the words to say. Hey, we can take out your old bathtub, and we can put a shower in there that's a lot easier to get in and out of, that's a lot more functional, that you'll actually use more, that actually works the way you want it to. So here's a picture of it. Mm-hmm. And then people read that, and they go, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's what we want people to say. So we want to find words that say that, but we want the words to be compact, concise, and, pack a lot of punch. So let's find a way to say that right now. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I do this on these calls all the time. I start with a concept like I just gave you, and then I put it on paper, knowing full well that when I put it on paper, it's not going to be right. And then I'm going to start to manipulate it and fine-tune it and sand it until I like it, okay? So I say that simply because I don't want you to freak out when I first put it on paper and go, well, that sounds dumb, or that sounds kind of stupid, because it's just kind of the process. So let me get a piece of paper on the screen here. And let me get the right piece of paper here. Okay. We'll call this one. Now, I'm going to do myself a favor, but not you. Where is that thing? I'm going to take the ad. I'm going to put it on my other monitor so I can see it. Now, that's going to mean that other people on this call can't see it, but that's tough luck. Okay, we're going to call this tub to shower conversion. Okay, now the ad, the headline that we want, again, by review is, hey, we can take your bathtub out, we can put a shower. Now, tell me a little bit more about this. I understand the general concept and all that, but just give me a little bit more information. People that are buying this, are there usability issues involved with this in terms of it's hard to get into the bathtub, or is it more typically a cosmetic thing and more of a looks cool thing?
No, they typically can't step over the tub to get in or out. So they want the low step shower or else a roll in. Some of them that are used to taking a bath and they just need more space getting in and out, so they convert from a bath to a shower just because they can't get out of the tub. Okay,
so I may revise what I said earlier. So here's what you're really telling me. You're telling me, now I'm going to say this in a crude way, and you're going to go, hey, don't say it like that. And I'm not. We're just talking right now, okay? Here's what you're saying. Hey, if you're old and it's too hard to get in and out of the bathtub, then I got 2 different solutions. One of them might be the best for you. One might be the walk-in tub. The other one might be the tub to shower conversion. Is that right?
Exactly.
Okay, now let me ask you this. What if I'm younger, 40s or 50s, certainly not elderly? I can still get in and out of a tub. It's not like I'm having a problem there. Are you still selling this to that crowd because it just looks better and is cooler. Not
Well,
the,
we are
not the
selling
walk-in
to that.
tub.
We are selling to that crowd only because people basically they shower today, they don't take baths. A lot of them in that 40 range, the kids are grown up and gone, and don't have to worry about them giving them a bath anymore, so they want the tub gone and the shower in its place.
What percentage of your business is 60 years and older?
60, 70%.
Okay, and if you could wave a magic wand and you could have the percentage of your business be 60 and over at any percent you wanted, it could be 100% of your business or it could be 20% of your business, what would you want it to be?
Well,
do you like where it is at 60 or 70%, or do you wish it was higher or lower?
I get 60, 70% is okay.
Okay, because here's what I'm really asking you. I'm asking you where you really want to be, because the type of ads that you run are going to determine the kinds of customers you get. That's the reality. So here's what people tend to do, and what you're trying to do on this ad here. You're trying to say, well, we really have all these different things, and we would like to sell to anybody. Yeah, we have a niche over here with older people, and that's where most of our customers are, but we don't want to exclude anybody else, so we'll put this more general ad in here that would, potentially attract everybody. And what I'm telling you is that's a good way to get not very many calls, because when you say, hey, we can do all kinds of bathtubs to anybody, then it's not particularly interesting to anybody, and you get very few calls. So what I'm suggesting is let's focus in on who you want to talk to. Let's say something extraordinarily specific to them, even though by doing that you're going to, by definition, exclude the other people.
Mm-hmm. I think we're in a market down here where a huge percentage of the population is elderly. So yeah, let's just point it at the elderly market.
Let's take the leap and let's do that. I think you're going to like the results better. I really do.
We call it the senior market.
Yeah, old folks. We won't call them old folks, but so let's take a look at this. Having trouble getting in and out of the tub. Having trouble getting in and out of the shower. I'm assuming, I'm not going to assume anything with the senior citizen market. Do most of them that have tubs take showers in them, or do they take baths in them, or do you know?
I think a lot of them, it's probably 50-50, but when they get older, they realize they just can't get up out of the tub anymore, so they either go for a shower or a walk-in tub.
Having trouble getting in and out of the tub or shower. That's just an easy place to start. Let's find a few different ways to say this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. Having trouble getting in and out of the tub or shower. What do people say? You talk to these people personally, right?
Yes.
Give me some of the things that they say. Just pull it right out of their mouths and tell me about trouble getting in and out of the shower, bathtub, whatever.
They can't raise their leg over the tub to get in or out, or they are concerned about slipping and falling by having to raise their leg so high. That's the two primary reasons.
Now, I've just written two things on. Can you read those, by the way? Is that showing up?
Yep.
I'm going to make it a little bit bigger font just so it shows up better. Excuse me. I've just said a couple things on here. I can't raise my leg over the shower to get in or out. Or maybe this. It's hard. I think
Yes,
I can't is probably overstating it. The reason they're interested is because they still can, but it's vexing, right?
No, that's good.
I'm afraid I'll slip in the tub when I lift my leg to get out. Sometimes if you just literally capture what people are saying and thinking and you repeat it back to them, what happens is they read it and they go, exactly. That's exactly how I feel. Which of these two do you think looks best, this one or the one below it?
I like the first one, the one you got highlighted.
Okay.
We got to change that from shower to tub.
It's hard to raise my leg over the tub, yep, thank you, to get in or out. We might even be able to eliminate this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's what we do. We take this, we make it bigger, and I would put this yeah, really? Okay, so this is how I start this. Now, I'm going to pull the ad back over here, make it a little bit smaller on the screen.
Rich, are you going to make this available to me when you're done?
I always make everything available to people that I write stuff for, okay? That's why we're here. It's not to tease you, it's to help you, okay?
I just don't want to take notes.
I didn't say you had to be hardworking, just paying attention, that's all. So I would probably get rid of some of this crazy background. I think it looks a little bit cluttered.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not sure what that color is or what, you know, what's happening. You know, just it just looks kind of not that cool to me. But I would put this on here. It's hard to raise my leg over the tub. Now, think about this. Somebody's flipping through the magazine, and they're not looking for anything specific, but they're just kind of glancing through it to see if anything catches their eye. And what we want to do is throw something that catches their eye. It's hard to raise my leg over the tub. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll come in here and say something like, avoid slip and fall bathing accidents. It's hard to raise my leg over the tub. Avoid slip and fall bathing accidents. What was the other thing you said?
Slipping when you get out. You've got them both there. Well, slip and fall. One is they can't raise their leg to get in or out. The other is they're concerned about slipping and falling.
Hard to raise my leg over the tub.
Oh, grab bars are big. They like grab bars. That might help get their attention.
I don't usually use words like patented because it sounds a little hokey, but I think with your market, you know, I think there's some credibility maybe with patent. Now, we're going to couple this with pictures, right?
Yes.
See, I just put something on here. I patented walk-in tubs and showers. I didn't call it a tub-to-shower conversion because that phrase is hard to understand. But I've just said walk-in tubs and showers. I mean, you've got a walk-in tub with the lady sitting in it there, and you've got a walk-in shower, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great, whatever. Now, when you're talking to people about this, what kind of mood do you use when you talk about cost? Do you use the mood that it's inexpensive, or that it's, you know, expensive but worth it, or that it's easy to afford? How do you typically talk about it? What's the mood that you use for price?
Well, we try to allude to the fact that it's not expensive, and it increases their quality of life and safety. So then the value is the the price is determined. In other words, what they figure their safety's worth. They put their own value on, what it's worth, and we try to build that up before we give them a price.
Okay. Are you okay with creating an inexpensive mood?
Yeah.
Now, I know how life works. Maybe the price is still expensive according to the way that they think and process information, but your job is to go in and build value, right? So I understand that. I'm not. What I'd like to do though is give people an immediate feel that, oh, I can do this and it's not going to cost a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't want to put the word inexpensive in both of these. Finally, an inexpensive way to make bathing easy and worry-free again. Our patented walk-in showers and tubs and showers solve your problem for good. Okay?
Shouldn't we let them know that we're going to replace their tub so they can understand where it would go?
Yeah, I mean, we can, but what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to write headlines that immediately let people know what's going on. Not every single detail. You're getting into some details that are important, but not on the top level. So what I want to do next is I want to come in with a little paragraph of text. Okay, not a huge paragraph of text, just a little paragraph of text. I'm going to make this smaller so that it's clearly, text. Let's face it, just getting in and out of the tub can be a major challenge. Slips and falls can and do and will happen. I like that and will. It's kind of, bum, bum, bum.
Uh-huh.
Don't wait until you have an accident to make don't wait until you have an accident to make the important to remove your tub and replace it with a safer alternative. We have two. Now, see, so I just plugged removing the tub, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have two solutions. We have two solutions depending. We have two solutions. You know what? I think we need to make this easier on people. I mean, I'm enjoying this process because this is stuff that I've looked at and worked around a lot, but I haven't really sat down and wrote this exact piece. And I'm enjoying this process because here's what I'm seeing. It really comes down to this. Choose the walk-in tub if you like to take a bath. Choose the walk-in shower if you like to take a shower, right? It just depends on which one you like.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we tell people that?
Yeah.
Don't wait until you have an accident to remove your tub and replace it with a safer alternative. If you prefer to take baths, convert to our patented walk-in tub. Watch this. If you prefer to take baths, convert to our patented walk-in tub.
Mm-hmm.
It has a high, how would you say this? High door. High.
Low step door.
It has a low step door that perfectly seals water in. I'm just going to guess that you get a lot of old people to look at it and go, well, isn't that going to leak?
Everyone.
Right?
Everyone.
Okay. That perfectly seals water in while your bath remains perfectly safe. I like that parallelism between perfectly seals, perfectly safe, right?
Mm-hmm.
No more worrying, no more slipping, no more, whatever, high jumps, no more worrying. Prefer to take that. Now, watch this. Prefer to take baths. We're going to bold that because it's going to draw the eye in, okay?
Yep.
Now, I'm going to come back to this in a minute. Prefer to take showers. Blah, 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 okay? Now, you see what's happening here? I'm helping them make the decision by clearly, visually showing them what the options are.
Mm-hmm.
See, what you're doing on your ad is you're throwing a bunch of options. You're going, here, figure it out. And you're thinking, well, it's clearly easy to figure out. I mean, come on. And they're looking at it going, what the crap is all this stuff? I don't know what all this is. A bunch of freaking bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to tell them. It's hard to raise my leg over the tub. Finally, an inexpensive way to make bathing easy and worry-free again. Our patented walk-in tubs and showers, and I've just told them, tubs and showers solve your problem for good. Let's face it, just getting it out of the tub can be a major challenge. Slips and falls can and do and will happen. Don't wait until you have an accident to remove your tub and replace it with a safer alternative. Prefer to take baths? If you prefer to take baths, convert to our patented walk-in tub. It has a low-step door that perfectly seals water in while your bath remains perfectly safe. No more worrying. Stress-free bathing. Prefer to take a shower? We can pull your old tub out and replace it with a, tell me about the entry. Low step entry?
Low step or roll in.
With a low step, how many inches is the low step?
4.
4 inches?
Yes.
Or roll in, 0 inches, right?
Yes.
That makes, do they both have seats?
Optional.
Okay. That
They both have slippers, just the bottoms.
that eliminate the stress getting in and out. Both models have optional seats, recommended,
Yes.
and non-slip surfaces for your safety.
How about grab bars there?
Are they included or are they optional?
They're optional, but 99% of them go with them.
And non-slip surface for your safety. We've been creating perfect bathroom solutions for how long?
40 years.
For 40 years. We are preoccupied with perfection. We are adamant about excellence. We are fixated on flawless. Let us help you solve your bathroom safety problems today. Something like that, okay? There's
How
your
about
ad.
concerns? Safety concerns today.
Problem's a little stronger, but I'll go either way. I'm not gonna dicker on that one. I think we're good. It's hard to raise my leg over the tub. Now you look at this, you say, well, you know, there's a lot of text. Now it comes down to just good graphic design to make this thing look right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I mean, it's easy to screw this up by, you know, just throwing it in there. So, I mean, who normally lays this out? Does the guy at the magazine?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'd give it to him, and I'd say, here, lay it out and send it to me, and then I'd send it over to me so I could look at it and tell him what he did wrong, and then he could fix it, okay?
Okay.
So I would put this ad in there. I would put a picture of each, and under each, I would put a little caption. And under the caption, or maybe like you have it here where the little caption is on there, but instead of saying walk-in tubs, I would say prefer to take a bath, ? Walk-in tubs. Prefer to take a shower, ? What do we call this thing? Low-step showers. Right?
Yep.
And then what happens is we've visually connected the text and the paragraphs to the picture so they can see which is which.
Mm-hmm.
And then they look at it and they go, wow, cool. Now, you can also put a little bullet point or a little something at the bottom that says, we also do full bathroom remodeling of all kind. Okay, great. You know, whatever. But most people aren't going to care about that after they read this ad.
Mm-hmm. I do like it.
I like it a lot. I mean, this is good stuff. It's hard to raise my leg over the tub. Finally, an inexpensive way to make bathing easy and worry-free again. Our patented walk-in tubs and showers solve your problem for good. Let's face it, just getting in and out of the tub can be a major challenge. Slips and falls can and do and will happen. Don't wait until you have an accident to remove your tub and replace it with a safer alternative. Prefer to take baths. If you prefer to take baths, convert to our patented walk-in tub. It has a low-step door that perfectly seals water in while your bathroom remains perfectly safe. No more worrying, stress-free bathing. Prefer to take showers. We can pull your... I'm reading this out loud because it's a principle of writing copy that until you read it out loud and hear what it sounds like, you don't really know if it sounds right or not. Okay? Mm-hmm. We can pull your old tub out and replace it with a low step, 4 inches, or roll-in, 0 inches entry that eliminates the stress of getting in and out. Both models have optional seat and grab bars recommended and non-slip surface for your safety. We've been creating perfect bathroom solutions for 40 years. We're preoccupied with perfection. We are adamant about excellence. We're fixated on flawless. Let us help you solve your bathroom safety concerns today. I like it. Let's run with that one.
You know, here's the problem.
Time, I'm going to tell you to run with that one.
Here's the problem. Deadline was yesterday.
That's your problem, my friend.
Now that I see this, I'm sitting here thinking, oh.
No, let me tell you something about deadlines. There's no such thing. There is such a thing, but it's a lot later than they tell you it is. I would call them and say, I don't want my ad to run. If you want my money, you need to either redo it with this or I just want to wait till next time. And guess what they'll magically find? A way to make it happen this time.
Can you get that sent to me quickly?
Tell me your email address.
Best one is jwhassall@gmail.com.
It's on its way.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna stop there for sake of time. Hopefully that's okay. Is that okay?
That's good.
Okay, good. Thanks, Jack. We'll talk to you next time. All right, now, Rick, I see that you're on a phone. However, you need to dial your audio pin, Rick, and your audio pin is exactly as follows. Dial it exactly precisely the way I say, #61#. That is only for Rick. If anybody else uses that, it will not work properly. That is for Rick, #61#. All right, Rick, you should be good to go right now. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can.
Wonderful.
All right. Thank you so much for being patient with the dial-in instructions there. Let me pull up the ad that you sent over. And I see one called High Class Marketing and one called Home Man Jan. Which one do you want to look at first?
Either one.
All right, I'll pull up High Class Marketing.
Okay. That one came about after I got the landing page template from Joe. I'm new to Monopolize Your Marketplace, so we're just now getting up and running, but I did get a landing page, and this is kind of a lot of the information that was on the landing page. And this particular piece, this High Class Marketing, is going to be a quarterly publication to 3 neighborhoods that wrap around golf courses here in the city. It's going to be one ad that's going to run in all neighborhoods, and one ad for all 4 editions. So that's why I didn't put any kind of special in it. Or
okay, let me find something here. All right, does this look right to you?
Yes.
Okay, now I'm going to point a couple things out to you here. Let me put these both on the screen at the same time. Oh, come on. Okay, let me try to make this one smaller. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to basically eliminate this top part of the website because that's not what we're trying to accomplish here. Okay, now you said this is going to go into a quarterly magazine that is distributed to higher-end homes. Is that what I think I heard you say?
Yes.
Okay, get rid of that little guy. Now, there's a reason that we put it on this web page exactly the way we put it on this web page. Because here's what's going to happen here. We've always got to keep in mind when we are talking about copy and printed materials, and in my opinion, a website is a printed material. Clearly it's on a screen and it's not printed on paper, but it is, I consider it printed because people look at it and they can evaluate multiple aspects of the ad at once. Unlike a TV ad, if you show me a TV ad, I can only evaluate what's on the screen right now. I can't look 10 or 15 seconds into the future to see what else is coming. Same thing with a radio ad. But on a print ad or on a web page, I can very quickly scan the entire thing to draw a more complete view of what is going on this ad or this website. Are you with me on that?
Yes. Okay,
so here's what's happening. On this website, we have this idea of treating you like family. Now, I don't know if you were on or if you heard me earlier when I was talking about the concept of the flag and the mountain. Did you hear that?
I did.
Okay, so this is what's going on here. We talk about treating you like family. That becomes our flag that we want to put on the mountain. But if people look and they see a flag that says we treat you like family, and they look underneath it and they see a flat prairie-like field, it doesn't have the feel of genuine, real meaning. It just sort of feels like a platitude. So here's what happens on the website. I'm talking about the right-hand side of your screen right now. I've got your print ad on the left and I've got the website on the right. Lots of contractors talk about treating you like family. Only Paradise proves it from the very first call until project completion and beyond. Now what happens is at that moment when somebody reads that, all they've seen is the flag, and they're about to look down to discover whether or not there's a mountain or a field down there. And we want to make sure that when they look down to explore what's going on, that they immediately see a mountain. So we put this visually in their line of sight. Satisfaction first, and then these other issues that we'll look at and talk about in just a second. But here's the point. When people look down, they immediately see answers to this question. The question is, okay, what do you mean treat you like family? Yeah, okay, you treat me like family. I hear you, whatever. Prove it. And people aren't really consciously thinking, prove it. And they're not really consciously thinking, well, what do you mean treat me like family? But this is exactly what they're thinking on a subconscious level. Lots of contractors talk about treating you like family. We prove it from the very first call until the project completion. Now, here's what they're going to say. We'll prove it. And so that's what we do on the website. We immediately give them 5 elements that are very easy to read. Notice that we've used bullet points and we've used bold headers with non-bolded text so that people can look and get as much or as little information as they feel like they need to feel like we've proven it. Satisfaction first. You don't pay until you're 1,000% thrilled with the job. Obsessive attention to detail. Everything is exactly right every time. A to Z. That's a typo, by the way. We need to fix that. A to Z fanatic communication. Always know the exact status of your job. No sales pressure. You wouldn't twist your mother's arm. Neither would we. Longest warranties. Double the industry standard. Best in San Antonio. So when I see that, I go, oh, that's what you mean by treat you like family. Now, in the case of the ad, you've jammed them down below the pictures. So when I go to look, I don't see them. And I might not see them at all. So now we've got what feels like a platitude just sort of hanging out up there. We also have another problem with the headline. The other problem that we have with the headline, well, I'll ask you, can you tell the difference between the headline on the right on the web page and the headline on the left on the print ad? They have the exact same words, but there's something fundamentally different that makes the one on the right actually better. What is it? Can you tell?
The spacing after the treating you like family jumps off the page because it's only Paradise Proves it's spaced below it, far enough below it.
That is correct. It's the spacing. Long story short, it's the spacing. So we do make treat you like family jump off the page a little bit more. Then we put some white space between that and the next set of paragraphs. So here's what we see. We visually see, I'm not reading anything right now, I'm just visually seeing that there's 2 sets of words there. And so that tells me as a reader that they are separate. They're related because they're next to each other, but they're also separate. So I've got 2 separate thoughts there. I can also clearly see that the top thought is probably the most important because I can see visually that it's bigger font and it's got bolder font. So I'm communicating things just by font size, bolding, and spacing that are very critical to this message. Now, if I look over at yours, I've got this big blob of text where none of that is communicated. So we need to fix that. Lots of contractors talk about treating you like family. Only Paradise Proves it. Now, I'm going to probably recommend that we go back over here on the MYM version and we underline the word prove. Proves it from the very first call until project completion and beyond. So I guess, long story short, you know what I would recommend you do for this ad?
I'm all ears.
Make it look exactly like the website.
Okay.
Because there's a reason that we made the website look exactly like it looks. Now, you might be saying, well, we want to put these pictures on here so people can see it. And I think we can accommodate that. What I would probably recommend is we take these 5 bullet points, we put them under the headline, we do the spacing, and you can move these pictures maybe over to the right.
Get rid of the
Maybe what we can
Promises.
do, yeah, maybe what we can do is we can create 2 columns. Okay, let's split this page in half, 50-50. On the left-hand half, let's put the 5 bullet points with their accompanying text, and let's also put either the Paradise Promises or the text that's on the website. I don't know which, because I haven't evaluated it yet, but let's talk about that in a second. Let's talk about the right-hand side. Now, on the right-hand side, let's go ahead and put these photos with the captions. I like the photos and the captions because here's what it tells people. Oh, here's the kinds of stuff that you actually do. I think it's extraordinarily important. It's not as important on your website because we've got the photo that's rolling, and we've got this choose your service, enclosures, spas, arbors, and decks. So there's enough additional information on the website that people can kind of get that feel, okay?
Right.
But on this ad here, I would just go with a 50-50. Let's put the text on the left. Now, let me ask you this. Why do you think I want the text on the left instead of the right? Because right now you've got the pictures on the left and the text on the right.
People read from left to right.
Yeah, so visually we've got what's called a headline funnel. The headline funnel is going to say, here's the biggest, most important thing at the top, and then under that we've got the secondary headline that goes with the first headline, and it's the second thing I want you to look at, and then we want to guide them down to this 3rd level of bullet points, which really becomes another set of subheadlines, and then finally down into the text, right?
Got it.
So that'll all happen on the left. Now, meanwhile, they can see, okay, there's stuff over here on the right, and they can look at that when they feel, like they're ready to. But right now we've got it kind of discombobulated. So we've got some spacing issues, we've got some layout issues.
I believe the main heading, the lots of contractors talk about treating you like family, leave that is over the full page.
Correct.
And then bring the 5 sub-bullet points split to the left underneath that, and then move the pictures to the right, and then get some text underneath that. Okay.
Now here's what I want you to do. I want you to get a pencil out. I want you to take some really, really specific notes for me right now, okay? You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, number 1, make the top headline, lots of contractors talk about treating you like family, make the lots of contractors talk about 20% bigger. Make treating you like family 20% bigger than it is. So they're going to remain respectively smaller on the top and bigger on the bottom line, but I want both of them to be 20% bigger. Make sure you put a closed quotation mark after the word family. Make sure there's a space between treating you like family and only Paradise. I want you to take only Paradise and the line below it. I want you to make them 15 to 20% smaller.
Okay.
I want you to take the ... after completion. I want you to move it over to the left so it's touching it. Look, just like this. And there should only be 3 dots. And I want you to put a period after the word beyond instead of an exclamation point.
Okay.
Now here's what happens when you put a period instead of an exclamation point. It subtly changes the tone from hyperbole and sales fluff to a stern, serious declaration of what we actually do. Not that we're trying to be stern, not that we're trying to stare somebody down and scare them, but that exclamation point makes it feel more salesy, whereas the period makes it feel more matter-of-fact. Okay? Underneath that, on the left-hand half, right now you've got this broken up probably 45, 55. Do you see that on your existing ad?
Yes.
Because it's a little bit wider on that Paradise Promises. Let's go ahead and split it 50-50.
Okay.
Let's make the left-hand half have a white background with orange and black text. That way it'll visually connect to the top headline section, right?
Okay.
And then on the right-hand side, you need to put these pictures, and I would recommend putting the pictures in order of importance from top to bottom. And that's completely up to you to decide. I don't really know what's most or least important. Maybe you say, well, they're all the same important. Okay, then it doesn't really matter. But if there is an importance, put the top ones as the most important, the least important ones towards the bottom, okay?
Got it.
On these bullet points, go ahead and put satisfaction first in bold, just like we have it on the right, and then have it be in less bold with the text. It's probably going to take you 2 lines to complete those, okay? Because we're only using half of the width.
Right.
Now, the next thing becomes, well, how much space do we have depending on how far these bullet points go down on the left-hand column? What I would probably do, by the way, we need, looking at my screen here, okay, it's just a little piece of dust. It looked like a number 1 instead of an L on the end of feel, but it's not. It's just my screen. This, feel free to call any or all of our 6,000 previous customers. We probably need to bold that.
Okay.
What I'm trying to decide right now is I might put the Paradise Promises or I might put some version of this text. You're not going to have room to put all the text, that's for sure.
Right.
I'm just reading it. I'm not ignoring you. Sorry.
No trouble. And again, this is first pass. I haven't had any correspondence back with Joe about, you know, fix this or change this or I like this or I don't like this. So.
Yeah, I could go either way on this. I'd probably just want to see it. But yeah, either put the Paradise Promises or some variation. If you use the text, I probably would put the first paragraph and the third paragraph and leave the second and fourth paragraphs out.
Okay.
Just for sake of space. It's not suggesting that the other paragraphs I left out are not any good. I think they are good. But for sake of space.
Okay.
Okay.
And this one I got a
then,
little time. I think my deadline on this one's I probably got a week, so I got some time to work with this one.
Okay. Yeah. Normally, I would suggest starting with the headline and putting the logo at the bottom. Given that this is an ad that's going to be running quarterly, I'm kind of good with putting your logo at the top. I think we can work with this. So really what we're doing is we're just fine-tuning what you already have here, which is already sort of a reworking of the identity. So this is good. So you got those specific notes, right?
I do, yes.
Okay. Should we look at your other ad?
Yes, which has already run. That's in Home Magazine. It's the only print media that still seems to work for me. Newspaper doesn't work. And
okay. 7 reasons to add a deck. Hey, this looks all familiar to me.
I tell I've been
You're a
around the website.
You're a long-term student of MYM, I can tell by looking at this
Well,
ad.
it's been all compressed into about 3 weeks, so.
Well, you're a quick study then.
I am a quick
Okay.
study, yes.
So you ran this ad. Did it work well for you?
It just came out this week, so yes, we've already had some calls off of it.
Yeah, I would say that, you know, my biggest concern with this ad really is also some spacing and timing issues. You know, how we've earned their trust. You've made that extraordinarily difficult to read down there. Do you see that?
I do.
So you're kind of in a catch-22 though, where you say, well, gosh, there's not much more room, so how do we cram it all in there? And the answer is, well, you either cut text out or you cut some of the pictures out or something. But yeah, I mean, this is an interesting ad. This is an interesting ad. 7 reasons to add a deck, I think, is something that people will look at and go, huh, interesting.
Well, I love the premise that I can have the ad appeal to people who are already in the market, or I can try to draw a few people into the market, which has always been the perplexing thing that I thought about, because it's, I got maybe 3% of the people in San Antonio are actively in the market today, and 97% aren't. So maybe this gets me a couple extra people.
Yeah, I would say that just keeping it real, I think that your graphic design leaves a little bit to be desired. But just a little bit to be desired. I mean, I'm not looking at this going, oh my gosh, this is terrible. But I think there's some spacing issues. I think you could clean this up and make it just look a little bit nicer. I mean, the ad that you pulled this off of that is in our archives is quite an old ad too, that if I redid it myself now, I would update the graphic design. But, I'm nitpicking now. But for sure, I would loosen up this text block on the bottom for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
You got a lot of good stuff you're saying there, but it's just hard. You're making it almost impossible to read.
Well, the fortunate thing is it is truly an 8.5 by 11 ad, so it's when you print it out or look at it on a sheet of paper, it's the type. I think it's actually about a 12-point type.
Well, it's not the font size that I'm worried about. It's the crammed.
It's all jammed together. Yeah.
It's all jammed. I mean, and this is all jammed here. I mean, there's just some spacing and design issues that could make this thing a little bit better.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not a big worrier about font size. I mean, I'm the guy that's used 6- and 8-point fonts plenty of times on ads. People will read it if you got a lot to say and you got to cram it in there. People will read it. But spacing is what makes the major difference. It's just allowing people's eyeballs some room to breathe so they don't feel like, oh my gosh, I just jammed my eyes into a fork.
Right. So maybe leave the 5 points at that same type, but just drop drop the text down to a smaller font, which would really open that up dramatically.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of different ways to do it. That's one way to do it. One thing that you want for sure is you want space between the different points, okay? Expertise and reliability and business standing are all crammed together. It's the same thing that we were talking about on your headline on your other ad, remember?
Yes.
Okay. Number two, you know, it's kind of difficult to read light text on dark background. I'm not really interested in having huge blocks of text reversed out. It's just a little bit harder to read. So I might consider making that a dark colored text on a light colored background. But you know what? This is one of those things where you just got to kind of look at it and get a feel for it. And that's terrible advice to give somebody on a call like this, because your question would be, well, geez, I don't even know what I'm looking for necessarily.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's kind of how we approach it. I mean, there's been lots of times where I'll say to my designer,
I learned a lot from the review of the first ad that definitely applies to this one.
Yeah, there's lots of times where I'll say to my designer, hey, you know, make this change, and I'll look at the change, and I'll go, no, change it back. I was wrong. And it's hard to tell sometimes until you just see it live. On the left-hand side, you've done a good enough job of making the headers sufficiently large that it makes it reasonably easy to read, but still, I mean, you're just cramming a bunch of crap in there, then it's still hard to read. But it's easier to read than this down here because it's got a bigger variation of header to text, and it is a little bit easier being on a light background. Okay?
Got it. I'll rework this one too.
That's what I would do, though. And, you know, this is an interesting ad. It takes a concept that we talked about on the previous ad, which is you've got this text going down the left-hand side. And see, people are going to look at this ad, and they're going to visually see that there's pictures on the right-hand side. But nobody feels like they really need to study those pictures right away. Nobody's going to look at an ad and go, oh, here, let me study these pictures carefully right now. They're going to see them and go, okay, there's some pretty pictures. I wonder what they have to say. And then, you know, it's just visually laid out in a way that's easy to follow. So I like this ad.
Well, pat yourself on the back then.
Hey, I love my ad. I'm such a good ad writer. But, yeah, go ahead and clean this up. I think you'll see that just by cleaning it up, it will make a difference.
Yeah. Now, the nice thing here is that it's a monthly publication, so I can clean it up and run it again next month, and it'll have a whole different look to it.
Yeah, it's always your job to make sure that stuff's easy to read. This is a principle of that we call readability, and right now I think the content is good. We're just suffering a little bit on readability, okay?
Got it.
I think that's it. Any other questions for me?
I'm good. You could do me a favor because I do have a second company, which is a bath company, and if you would duplicate your email to me of it's hard to raise my leg over the tub script that you did for the other gentleman, I would appreciate that.
Yep, I will. In fact, here's what I'm going to do. I'll send it to Chad, and I'll have Chad send it along to you. But I'll also have Chad post it on the summary page of this call, so it's just there for anybody who wants to see it. Okay.
Good. Perfect.
Okay. Excellent.
Thank you
for your participation. It's good to have you on as a customer. We appreciate your business.
I'm excited.
Okay. Thanks. We'll see you later.
Thanks, Rich. Bye-bye.
And that takes us to the end of the call. So thanks, everybody, for participating. It was a barrel of fun. We'll talk to you next time. Bye now.